We
on.
have a lot on the agenda tonight, so let's get started on time.
We do, all is discontinued.
Oh, thank you, Dewan. Okay, starting with opening the May 14th, 2026 Georgetown-Scott County Planning Commission meeting. We'll start with the approval of the April invoices. Any questions, discussions?
So moved.
Mr. Jesse? Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Approval of the April 9th, 2026 minutes. Any discussions or corrections?
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Garrett, second.
Second. Second.
James, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Approval of the May 14th, 2026 agenda. Do we have changes? My understanding is we might.
May I speak just a minute?
Sure.
A and B has been postponed for tonight, and I've understood since then that maybe one more.
Yes, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
Elisa's going to tell us
Okay.
about now.
Yes,
Okay.
I'll run
Yeah.
through that real
Okay.
quickly and then give the applicant's attorney a chance to just introduce their
Okay.
request. So items A and B under old business, that
Yeah.
being the ZMA 2025-36 and PDP 2025-37, the stables at Blossom Park. Those two items have been requested to be postponed. I'll let their attorney speak for themselves.
Okay.
Prior to any action being taken. And then item E under other business at the bottom of the screen, or bottom of the page, that being PDP 2024-48, the Georgetown Commons Commercial West variances, that has been requested to be postponed. I will let the applicant's
Woodall?
attorney.
So if you could speak to each of them separately, and we'll
Okay.
need to do a vote on each of them separately.
Okay.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen of the commission, John Woodall, on behalf of the applicant in ZMA matter 2025-36 and PDP 2025-37. We went over this one at workshop on Monday, and there were a lot of concerned folks from Cherry Blossom that showed up, and also we had a presentation from the staff. And after conferring with my client, there's some design changes that need to be made to that plan, which we intend to make to more come in line with the staff report. And I think we also discussed, my clients and I, that these neighbors deserve to be heard, and they didn't get to speak at the workshop. So what we want to do is postpone this, have a chance to have a neighborhood meeting where everybody can speak for say what they want to say, and as long as they want to say it, as opposed to being confined to this room. That meeting, it's been my experience, usually there's changes to the plan that come out of that. I know we're not going to satisfy everybody, but we have to, out of respect, I think we have to do that and try it. So that's why we'd like to postpone it tonight.
Okay. Do you anticipate being ready for the June meeting, or do you think it'll be the July?
We're going to try for June.
Okay.
If that, we'll have to renotice it, obviously.
Right.
So, and at the end of the workshop, I think I said that I would confer with Ms. Foley if we were going to postpone, which I did. And then in the meantime, Mr. Sims is representing the HOA. So
Okay.
he and I will be in contact as well. So
Okay.
we'll shoot for June.
Great.
So,
Go ahead.
so these are both of the ZMA 2025-36 and PDP 2025-37 is both of the items that our professional planning staff said for denial. But you're going to postpone that, correct?
So far, yes, sir, Mr.
Yeah.
Jesse.
Just want to make sure that we're on the
Yes,
same
sir.
page. Thank you.
Somebody want a motion to postpone ZMA 2025-36 and PDP 2025-37 till the June meeting?
I'll make a motion that we postpone.
Okay, second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? All right.
Thank
Next
you.
item.
And moving on to PDP 2024-48, which is the Georgetown Commons Commercial West variance, would also request a postponement on that, so we can do a little more work on the plan and try to work with staff a little more on
Okay.
that one.
June meeting on that one as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Motion?
I'll make a motion that we postpone PDP 2024-48.
Okay. Second?
Second.
First time in history.
All right. All in
Thank you all.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Woodall.
Thank you all.
So approval of the agenda with the two postponements, the postponements of both the items in the old business and item A in the other business. Motion for approval of the revised agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Was that you, Brett, or?
Second.
Mr. Okay,
That What's left of me?
okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Anyone, we're going to do a couple, oh, sorry, Elise. I was going to say, yeah, we'll take 5 minutes. Anybody that was here for those 3 items, feel free to exit, and then we'll get started,
If they wanted to speak, would they be allowed to speak?
because we're not opening the public hearing.
And I got hot water.
This gentleman right here.
I mean,
Go back down.
imagine hearing a wheel
How are you?
just to get up that ramp.
It's good to see you.
That's a steep climb out there.
It is.
It's not meant to amplify, it's only for the recording. It doesn't really make it louder, it just does the recording. And that one just does the recording too.
Made history.
I do. His wife is Gail Land. She worked at Toyota for years in Bodywell, like assistant or associate staff. Yeah. And I'm trying to remember his first name. He was a security guard and tram tour driver forever.
Never been by this professional.
I'm trying to remember his first name.
Denial of this magnitude for any.
He drove that tram forever. I think even when, I was a tour guide for years. I can't remember his, I want to say Keith, but I don't think so. But his wife's name's Gail. I know that for sure.
And then someone's already contacted the state and said they look 6 years out and there's nothing.
Yeah, it is.
For 6 years. So
A and B in old business.
we have no
A
business.
and other business.
If the state wants Scott County to grow, like I said, they can spend $400 million.
Okay, we need everybody to exit the room.
They can spend.
Who?
Correct. So if they choose not to, stop this.
I don't know.
We
Jack Connor's here too, that's trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, if everybody that's not going to stay in the meeting can exit, and we'll shut the door so we can go ahead and get started.
Someone in line.
Including Mr. Woodall and Mr. Sims. Okay, that's great.
I think the meeting's over with.
Oh, this looks like a shorter meeting. Fantastic. Would you say? It has gotten quiet, hasn't it? Big difference. All right.
Into that.
We will go ahead and get started with the first item in new business. Oh, actually, anybody that's here that's going to speak, stand up and Charlie will swear you in.
Do you swear or affirm the statement you're making tonight to be the truth and the best of your information and belief? Yes. Thank you.
Fantastic. All right, starting with PDP 2026-13, Cyron Holdings, variance from Article 6.14 of Landscape and Land Use Buffer.
Good evening, everyone. This is an amendment to the preliminary development plan for Cyron Holdings. And the request is for the variance from Article 6.14 of Landscape and Land Use Buffer Ordinance pertaining to the required agricultural buffer fencing along the eastern property boundary. The property is located at 1007 Delaplane Road and is around 11.18 acres. And overall, staff recommends approval of this request. Shown here is the aerial view of the site, which fronts the Delaplane Road to the north and is around 0.4 miles from the intersection of Cherry Blossom Way to the west. The subject property is zoned I1 light industrial with similar industrial zones around it, except the eastern property line where it abuts the A1 agricultural zone. So just to give everyone a brief background about the application, in June 2016, the property was originally approved for industrial development under PDP 2016-38 for approximately 72,000 square foot industrial building, following a zone change from A1 agricultural to I1 light industrial in the same year. As part of that approval, condition of approval number 3 allowed a mature tree line to be substituted for perimeter site screening adjacent to the A1 property to maintain the natural character of Lanes Run Creek. So in April last month, the applicant received ministerial approval to expand the existing industrial parking area by approximately 35 parking spaces in order to support ongoing operations and growth of the site. This is just a zoomed in view of the proposed and approved additional parking area where the applicant has met all requirements pertaining to the capacity of parking spaces and VUA screening. Shown here is the topography map of the property that shows the site slopes down towards the southern portion of the area where we have the Lanes Run Creek, as you'll see in the following slides. So in terms of KRS, in reviewing this request, the board is reminded of the criteria underlined under KRS 100.243, which governs the granting of variances. Before any variance is granted, the board must find that the request will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare, will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity, will not cause a hazard or nuisance to the public, and will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the requirements of the zoning regulations. So shown here in the single dark blue line is the presence of Lanes Run Creek, and shades of blue and orange represents its floodplain limitations. The applicant indicated that the installation of the required fencing in this location is not feasible due to these environmental constraints related to the creek corridor and the floodplain, and the request arises from site-specific constraints. Here is the extended map of the floodplain, and these environmental conditions have existed since the original development of the property and were recognized in the previous approvals. Additionally, portions of the eastern property boundary as seen in the image already has an existing 6-foot plank fence and vegetation that provides a level of separation between the subject property industrial use and the adjoining A1 agricultural uses. Some images provided by the applicant shows that the vegetation is more prominent towards the northern part of the boundary near the Delaplane Road, whereas as we move towards the middle and the southern portion of the property, the vegetation becomes less denser. So here is the aerial image of the adjoining property at 1077 Delaplane Road. And we have a confirmation from the adjoining property owner stating that they do not oppose this variance request. Staff has put in a condition in relation to this as condition number 10, which would require the applicant to maintain the existing fence and vegetation along the eastern property boundary to continue functioning as a buffer between the subject property and the adjoining A1 zone property. So in terms of findings, again, the subject property is an 11.18 acre parcel zoned A1 light industrial. The variance entails relief from Article 6.14 of the Landscape and Land Use Buffer Ordinance, which requires a 6-foot tall boundary fence along eastern property line where the subject property abuts the A1 zone. The eastern portion of the site contains a creek corridor, associated floodplain tied to the lanes run creek, which functions as natural buffering elements between the site and the adjacent land. The site additionally has a 6-foot tall plank fence that provides a level of separation between properties. The request is limited in scope and does not affect the overall compliance of the site with applicable zoning and development regulations. And staff finds that the strict application of the ordinance would not create an unnecessary hardship given the physical limitations of the site. In conclusion, staff recommends approval of the variance request for the relief from Article 6.14 of the Landscape and Land Use Buffer Ordinance, subject to the following conditions as stated in your staff reports. Thank you. Does the board have any questions for the staff?
Questions from the commission?
Are the adjoining property owners here?
I believe they're not
Okay.
here at the meeting.
But they had reached out to you?
Yes,
to
they
do
have
it.
reached out to us and we have a letter stating that they do not oppose that.
Good. That's part of your record.
If no questions from the commission, is the applicant here? Is there anything the applicant would like? to-
Yes.
Oh, yes. Anything you would like to share? Okay. Any questions from for the applicant from anyone?
I'll make a motion, just go ahead and pass it.
Okay. So the motion to pass PDP 2026-13 is made by Mr. Jesse.
I'll second.
All right. Ms. Canfield? Yes. Mr. Jesse?
Yes.
Mr. Beth? Mr. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Ms. Adair?
Yes.
Mr. Black?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. All right, if you want to come up, Charlie, get you to sign the document. All right. Thanks, John. Next on the agenda, ZMA 2026-16. It is a public hearing, so I'm going to open the public hearing now. Schoolhouse.
So this application is for Schoolhouse. It's a request for a zoning map amendment from A1 agricultural to B4 community commercial for approximately 0.66 acres at 2250 Cincinnati Pike. And overall staff recommends approval of this request. Here is an aerial view of the property and its location fronting the Cincinnati Pike, which is a major arterial road connection serving the north-south corridor in Scott County. Another three-dimensional view just to give you a better understanding of the structure. And this is the structure as of how it looks today. So as you can see, the property is approximately 650 feet from the intersection of Cherry Blossom Way and Cincinnati Pike. The immediate vicinity reflects a mix of uses with an active farm operation to the north and west, the Scott County Fire Department to the south, and residential to the north. Whereas across Cincinnati Pike, development patterns begin to shift with low-density residential zones pertaining to Moon Lake subdivision to the north, and the presence of commercial uses along Cherry Blossom Way, such as a gas station within half a mile distance. Shown here is the land, the zoning map with those uses. While the surrounding area remains largely agricultural, the Cincinnati Pike corridor is experiencing transitional patterns with nearby residential and commercial activity. Here is a view of the intersection again for better understanding of the vicinity with the fire department adjoining the subject property. This comparison illustrates the evolution of Cincinnati Pike Corridor from a largely rural and agricultural setting in 1999 to a more transitional development pattern as of seen today. The image also demonstrates that the property has historically functioned as a developed site rather than active agricultural land, supporting staff finding that the existing A1 zoning may no longer be the most appropriate classification for the property. So just to give you a brief history, the property has a long established history dating back in 1920, originally serving as the dry run rural schoolhouse and later converted into a private residence in the late 1980s. The structure has remained largely vacant for the last 30 to 40 years, and the current proposal represents an effort to reinvest and rehabilitate this historic building. So shown here is the concept plan that we received from the applicant that shows the reuse of the building while introducing limited site improvements such as parking and landscaping. Staff notes that this is only a conceptual layout at this stage, and any final site design or commercial use would require full planning commission review. In terms of sanitary sewer, subject property is not in the urban service boundary and is not served by a public sanitary sewer. WEDCO determined that the site is not suitable for a conventional septic system and would only support limited to very low intensity uses. And the applicant is also exploring alternative waste water treatment options such as a surface discharge system, which would fall under the Kentucky Division of Water. A detailed evaluation of wastewater treatment options will be required at the development plan stage once a specific use is defined, and all proposed uses will be subject to review and approval from the appropriate department. In terms of traffic, staff reviewed the traffic count data for the Cincinnati Pike corridor between Burton Pike and Rogers Gap Road. Using an example of a small-scale restaurant with 10 seatings would generate approximately 28 to 30 trips per day, which would be less than 1% of the existing daily traffic volume along the corridor. So while the proposed B4 zoning district permits a broader range of commercial uses, the actual scale and intensity of the development on the property will naturally remain limited due to the small size of the site, and also the wastewater treatment capacity, parking availability, and other development requirements, which will restrict higher intensity commercial activity. So in terms of our statute, any zone change request is required to meet the standards from KRS 100.213. Before any map amendment is granted, the Planning Commission must find that the map amendment is in agreement with the adopted comprehensive plan, or in the absence of such a finding, that one or more of the following may apply. Number one, that the existing zoning classification given to the property is inappropriate and the proposed zoning classification is appropriate, or that there have been major changes of an economic, physical, or social nature within the area involved, which were not anticipated in the adopted comprehensive plan and have altered the basic character of such area. So in terms of the future land use map, staff finds that the proposed rezoning is not in agreement with the future land use map, which identifies the proposed parcel as agricultural. However, the statute also allows consideration under alternative criteria where the existing zoning may no longer be appropriate. In this case, the property is a small developed parcel that has historically functioned as a school and residence rather than active agricultural land, and remain largely underutilized for several decades. Staff finds that the existing A1 zoning is inappropriate given the property's historical use, limited size and location along a developing arterial corridor. Staff also finds that the proposed B4 zoning is appropriate because it allows adaptive reuse of the existing historic structure while still remaining limited in scale due to site constraints. While the area overall continues to retain an agricultural character, staff recognizes that the Cincinnati Pike corridor is experiencing gradual transitional growth patterns, and the subject property is located within one of these edges where rural and corridor-oriented development patterns begin to interact. Additionally, the staff has provided copies of the relevant comprehensive plan goals and objectives to the board for consideration as part of the overall review of the request. These goals generally support preservation, rehabilitation, and reinvestment in an existing structures while maintaining the character and identity of the community. Several of the listed goals also encourage adaptive reuse, small-scale commercial activity, and sustainable development practices rather than unnecessary expansion into an undeveloped land. Staff considered these broader policy objectives in evaluating the proposed adaptive reuse of the historic schoolhouse and its compatibility with the evolving Cincinnati Pike corridor context. So in terms of the findings again, the subject property is a 0.66 acre developed parcel which has an existing brick structure that has historically functioned as a school and a residence and not been used for agricultural purposes. The property is located along Cincinnati Pike, which is a major arterial corridor approximately 650 feet from the Cherry Blossom Way, which is experiencing a transition from agricultural to a mix of commercial and residential use. Surrounding land uses include agricultural properties, a residence, a fire department facility, and commercial and residential development across Cincinnati Pike, reflecting a transitional context. The 2024 future land use map designates the property as agricultural. However, nearby areas along Cherry Blossom Way are designated commercial, placing the site at the edge of different land use patterns. The comprehensive plan identifies development pressures along major corridors and supports efficient land use and reinvestment in existing developed properties. The proposed adaptive reuse of the existing structure aligns with these principles. The existing A1 zoning is inappropriate given the site size and lack of agricultural use, while the proposed B4 zoning allows for reuse of the property at a scale that will be limited by with the site size and other development constraints. Although the site is not served by sanitary sewer, alternative waste treatment options may allow for development, subject to review at development plan stage. There have been changes in the area in terms of corridor development and nearby commercial activity that support consideration of the proposed rezoning. And based on the above, staff finds that the request meets the criteria of KRS 100.213. So overall, staff recommends approval of the zone change request from A1 to B4 at the subject property, subject to standard conditions of approval, with an additional condition number 4 that states prior to occupancy of any commercial use, the applicant shall obtain all required approvals for wastewater treatment and disposal from the appropriate agency as applicable. Does the board have any questions?
I have a couple of questions. So they're waiving their sewer requirements back to the state of Kentucky to see if there is some kind of other system that might be approved. So if they exhaust any way of correcting this to have an adequate sewer system, then this would not happen. Is that correct? It would just...
Yes, so as of now, the applicant has got in touch with WEDCO and a sewer a private sewer system is not available. That's why WEDCO has given them options related to a septic tank with limited scale. But according to the applicant, they are also exploring other systems which may be more feasible, and as we go to the development plan stage, which would benefit according to the use.
That would be outside of WEDCO, and then this is all preliminary, so they'd have to still have all that approved before
Yes.
this can go forward. Okay.
Yes.
I think it just might limit what they can do in terms of the businesses, right? It would have to be low traffic.
Yes.
The dance studio we were talking about, or I can't remember what the other thing was you all mentioned at the workshop, but.
So, yeah, in terms of parking traffic, staff finds that it would not adversely affect or intensify the current, condition. And in terms of the sanitary sewer, staff does recommend, getting those approvals prior to construction.
Yeah.
So, in general, the intensity of the use will be very limited and low scale.
I just want to say kudos to the applicants for trying to take that property on. You got the firehouse on one side. You got 40 years of history there. Plus that quarter, Cincinnati quarter is starting to improve. We got Muds or Country Boys on down the road. So if they can fix that sewer problem, I think it'd be a great idea.
And I think it's anytime we can salvage a historic property, right? And not lose sight of the fact it started as a school, right? Even though it's zoned agriculture now. The agriculture zoning probably doesn't make sense, and if it's an opportunity to save an historic building, I think.
It was a residence way longer than it was a school. It was only a
I'm
school.
sorry?
It was a school for 8 years. It was a residence way longer.
Yeah, William Edgar lived there after that, but
Right.
yeah, I mean, it,
Yeah, I can't believe it was only a school for 8 years.
yeah, before they merged with the Oxford School.
Yeah.
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 Couldn't do that
Any,
today.
any other questions for staff before we give the applicant a chance to come up? No? Okay, does the applicant have anything they'd like to share before we open it to public comment?
an amazing job.
Yeah, great job.
One thing, like you said, it was a school, so it's kind of commercial prior. Then it was kind of renovated into a house. It wasn't done the greatest. The septic, I just want to touch base on some stuff. There is a brand-new existing septic system there now. It's just very small. Like I said, that limits us. When we reached out to WEDCO, our first intentions was a restaurant, such as like a Windy Corner or Wallace Station type Sunday brunch place. But with the sewer system like it is, we don't think that's gonna happen.
WEDCO did give alternative options other than just the, going through the state and doing the storm water as well. There
Yeah,
are
the
other
surface
options.
teacher, yeah, we can haul in dirt and stuff like that. There is, there's other ways around it. But when we asked them to come out there and do the survey and look at it and everything, or we were telling them that we wanted a restaurant. So they were looking at it as like a large system, and they denied us for the large system. So, but there's other options, single bathroom options and stuff like that. Like we said earlier, Monday, dance studios, retail space,
Office
space.
Hair salon, something
hair
of that
salon,
nature.
something like that
Where
nature.
they might just need one bathroom
Yeah,
on each
so,
side.
one or maybe two male, female
Right.
bathroom type deal. There's options for that. And I did want to touch one thing. Like I said, Toshi did a great thing. The picture she presented was from 2020. That is not the current look of the property. We just put a brand-new roof on it. It's already got a brand-new porch. It looks pretty good right now. So we've been cleaning the area up. We've got contractors on standby. They're just waiting for us to say, pull the trigger and tell them, go back to work. But there was a major hole in the roof, and we wanted to get that fixed. Believe it or not, the structure is in amazing shape for as bad as it looks and everything. It still has all the original windows.
They're
The
just
pre-
boarded
Yeah,
up.
the previous owner boarded them up, and thank God he did that, because it saved a lot. The original wood floors, the poured concrete foundation, everything's in great shape. Like I said, we just replaced the roof. It still has the original metal ceiling inside that's in great shape.
I assume the brick walls probably not that big.
Yeah, try doubling that. It's
Like that.
yeah. It's dirty though in there. Anything else, Heather?
No, I think that's it. think
I
that's-
appreciate the opportunity. Like you said, we're just trying to do something good with an old building and bring it back.
What's your all's timeline look like? Getting up and running.
Well, it's kind of up to you all.
Once, if
If we
this
can
can
help.
go through, that it gets rezoned commercial, then the next step is to start searching for tenants that would be interested, so then we can go the development stage process and go from there. We don't want to make assumptions about what it's gonna be without a tenant coming in and saying, hey, I need 3 walls here, or 2 walls here, or
Yeah, we're
whatever it
going
needs to look
to,
like.
the roof, the fascias, the gutters, all that, redo the whole front porch. We've actually reached out to the same company that's restored a lot of windows in the City Hall building. We've got a quote from them to restore the original double sash windows with the weights and everything.
But to answer your question, we would like for it to be done in a
So
year.
I'm excited about the renovations.
That's the goal.
But, we're kind of building the shell out and then to find a tenant for it, so.
So
Makes
they can
sense.
determine what it needs to look like on the inside.
And we've even talked about our own business, starting our own business and putting in there also.
Yeah.
So we just,
The fire department's nice and close.
oh, they're all
They're
board
all insurance
100%. They wanted a restaurant so bad, and I broke the news to them. So, code enforcement has actually reached out to me and was like, Chris, y'all are doing an amazing job. Thankful. They're just glad to see any, how do you, Sam, word it?
Just have it be productive again.
Productive again. Yeah, that was it.
Sad to see old things deteriorate when you know how well they were
Sitting
built in
right
all
here.
history.
I'm sitting right here.
Hey, now you're calling me old too. You might have a couple months on me, but that's it. I
Yeah,
resemble that
positive
comment.
feedback from the community around. Somebody posted a thing on Facebook about it, and where they saw the zone change sign, it's been positive on there.
Oh, good.
I'm rambling at this point.
That's all right. That's great. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Terry, got a comment you'd like to make? Elise, is there anything we can do with the thermostat in here?
No.
It's like really, would it help if we open the doors again? It's like really warm in here. Sorry. Go ahead, Terry.
I'm Terry Cowan. I'm 2 doors down. The Clark property is between us and this property. And kudos, of course, just for a change. We've been on our farm, and it is a farm market, small-scale farm. We have about 150 animals, so we're doing that. I'm doing that full-time.
I've seen it on Facebook. I didn't know that's where it was.
Yes, so I'm neighbors with the fire department, and really the only thing I haven't seen addressed beyond, the facade is beautiful, and to see that restored, we've been on our farm 10 years now, and to go by that every day, it's sad to see the deterioration, and I know just a little bit of history about it, so I'm pleased to see that it's being taken care of and returned to some maybe better glory. My primary concern that I have is possibly safety. Nothing has been mentioned about the fire department. So from my perspective, living with the fire department and all of the emergency services that, are up and down the road daily, across the bed in the middle of the night, all of that comes part, with the fire department. Being a restaurant, I might discourage that simply because the noise would never allow for an ambient or, some kind of quiet restaurant dining setting and so forth. Being that he said it has really wide walls. I have 6-inch walls, and they're paper compared to all the noise and racket that goes on. So, maybe sound barrier might be something I would encourage. But the safety of the fire department coming and going, there could be some blockage with the landscape that's there from them. Yes, they would hear them, but man, there's, EMS, there's engineers and everyone else that's coming and going. The public may not see all of that happening. Yes, you hear the fire trucks right there, but you may not see all the other, because they don't always turn on their sirens and so forth until they've, hit the floor and pedal and they're gone up and down the road. So I think that could potentially be an issue with the public being that close to a very, very active fire department. So that's something I think, I don't know, I hate to see the exterior landscape be eliminated because they really need that barrier to the hardscape that's right behind them with the landscape of the fire department. And of course, you have the big tower directly behind them. But there may be some consideration for public safety and the safety of the fire department and all emergency services because they're there together. That's just the reality that they have. So that would be my encouragement.
Okay, thanks, Terry.
But you're not opposed to it, ma'am, is that what you're saying?
Excuse me?
You're not opposed to this?
Posting this?
You're not opposed?
I'm not opposed, no.
Okay.
I just want that to be a big consideration.
All right, thank you.
Any other public comment? Questions? Anything else from the applicant? Anything else from the commission before I close the public hearing?
No, it's just good to know that they're going in great detail about the sewer. That's going to be important. So I'm glad to see it's very detailed in this plan.
All right, I'm going to close the public hearing. Is there a motion from the commission?
I make a motion to approve.
All right, second?
I'll second.
All right. Mr. Black?
Yes.
Ms. Canfield?
Yes.
Mr. Jesse?
Yes.
Mr. Vest?
Yes.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Ms. Adair?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. All right, if you want to come sign the paperwork? Absolutely. Good luck.
Oh, we're gonna need it.
All
Just one of us, oh, you're that.
right. Moving on to ESP 2026-20 Price Farm Townhomes, preliminary subdivision plat to subdivide an existing 16.86 acre lot into the individual single-family townhome lots.
All right.
Okay, and I think this is the one, our discussion at the workshop was a lot around how a lot of this, we've already approved townhomes being built on this. Really, this is a lot about the variances required because of our ordinances in order to have single-family ownership of them, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So the development plans for this development have been approved, and that layout is going to look the same. What the difference is and what the change in proposal that this kind of presents is just that each of those townhome units that have been approved to go there, they're each going to have their own kind of homeowner yard.
Okay.
And that's just going to allow...
Instead of rentals, they would be individually owned.
Yeah,
Okay.
and most of it arises from just the fact that the schedule of dimension area regulations doesn't really explicitly make allowances for separate ownership of attached single-family
Right.
housing.
Okay.
It's a neat segue there. So the current site acreage is 16.86 acres. The proposed site acreage, you have 6.94 acres of townhome lots, and then you have that remainder of the 16.86 dedicated to shared open space, stormwater management, and vehicular use area. The zone is R1C single-family PUD. Surrounding zones are R1C PUD, A1, and R2. So the use is single-family attached residential. It does not currently have an address, but the parcel ID number is 20810008001. And access is from Herndon Boulevard, from Oxford Road. And so the reason this is coming to the commission tonight is because there are 6 waivers requested by the subdivision plat. The first is the reduction in R1C minimum lot size from 7,500 square feet to a minimum of 1,980 square feet. The second is to reduce R1C minimum side yard setbacks, and there's kind of 2 elements to that. The first is to reduce the side yard setback from 7.5 to 0 feet, where you have that zero lot line style housing. And then you also have a reduction from 7.5 to 5 for those edge corner lots that you can see on those buildings. Third, you have the reduction in R1C minimum front yard setbacks down from 30 feet to 15 feet. And then you also have number 4, to reduce minimum rear yard setbacks from 25 to 10 feet. 5, you have the reduction in R1C minimum lot width from 70 feet to 20 feet. And then last, number 6, you have the increase in the maximum R1C lot coverage from 40% up to an average of 50%. And one thing to keep in mind with those first 5 waivers especially is those are all minimums. It ranges from lot to lot. That's just the absolute lowest that any of these lots can go. And number 6, the lot coverage, that is an average across the development.
Do I recall from the discussion too that this was the one where some of the reductions had been recommended by the planning staff in order to maximize green space and parking? Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
In discussions with the developer?
Yeah, and we'll touch on that a little bit later.
Sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
No, you're totally fine. Here's the property on the zoning map. You can see here the visual overhead view. Here is kind of where the proposed subdivision plat will fit. This is just the subdivision plat. We're going to kind of come back to this later. So a little bit of background, we've kind of touched on most of this already. You've got that 16.86 acre lot. You're dividing it into 116 total lots. You've got one for each townhome unit, and then you've got the 9.92 open space remainder. There are 115 total residential units that have already been approved, and those are dispersed across 24 total buildings. Each building has 3 to 8 units each, and the individual townhome units are uniform in their size, design, and style. Each residential unit is going to take up about 1,086 square feet of coverage. So the development itself hasn't changed from the time of the preliminary or final development plan. All that's changed is the subdivision layout. And there are 6.94 acres total of those proposed townhome lots. So some general plat waiver analysis, and before we get into the specifics here, the PUD zoning district does explicitly allow for departure from literal conformance with the schedule of dimension and area regulations, particularly where those departures would allow for some clear level of benefit. And so this application does kind of provide for that clear benefit that we usually want to see with those PUD waivers. And the first is just that private ownership of mid-size housing. We talked about this a bit on Monday. The comprehensive plan indicates the need for that in the housing objectives section. And then secondly, a lot of these waivers allow for the shared access and maintenance of those green spaces to make sure that they're not, usually not running on anyone's yard, make sure that everyone can access them and the HOA is taking care of them. So that first waiver, the reduction in minimum lot size, you can see here a typical layout. This is up to the north of the development. You can see all of those lot sizes are pretty well under 7,500 square feet. Now they range, right? Not all of them are right at 1,980 square feet. Some are larger, some are smaller. And so staff finds the following regarding this first waiver. PUD zoning district does make the allowance for those dimensional waivers. It allows for more efficient use of the space, basically giving more shared vehicular use area and walking trails while still allowing for that individual ownership of homes. The waiver is necessary to some extent for home ownership of these units. And then lastly, the minimum lot size in the R1C doesn't really make any kind of account or allowance for single-family attached housing on separate lots. So that second waiver, the side yard setbacks, you have those two in the red arrows. You have the 0 lot line where those units are going to adjoin each other in the same building. And then in the yellow there, you can see that reduction on those corner lots going down from 7.5 to 5 feet on that open edge. And so we're kind of rolling the setbacks all into one point of analysis here. With the front yard setbacks, you've got that reduction from 30-foot minimum to 15 feet minimum, and those range from lot to lot. Most of them are between 28 to 15 feet, but 15 is the requested minimum. And then the last setback waiver, you've got the reduction in rear yard setbacks from 25 feet to 10 feet. And so the plat does show the reduction in that rear yard setback for 82 of the proposed lots. And so some findings for all of those setback waivers rolled into one here. Again, we've got the fact that this is PUD zoning district, and it does make the allowance for those kinds of waivers. Pretty important point here, the front yard setback reductions are going to remain safely removed from the street, and those were evaluated and deemed appropriate with the preliminary development plan. They're going to be the same amount of space from the street in either case. The minimum setbacks in the R1C zoning district don't really make any consideration for attached single-family homes with separate home ownership. We usually will see 0 lot line style attached single-family lots for projects of this nature, but the zoning ordinance doesn't make the allowance for it explicitly. Many of those setback reductions are going to allow for dedicated shared maintenance and access for the pedestrian walkways. Those usually minimum R1C setbacks are intended to separate distinct uses. And because these lots are the same use in the same zone, in the same kind of self-contained neighborhood development, those higher setbacks may not be as necessary in this case. So that fifth waiver, minimum lot width, you're looking at that reduction from a minimum of 70 feet to a minimum of 20 feet. And keep in mind that is a bare minimum. Those widths will range from 20 to 56 feet for all lots. So we have the following findings for this waiver. Again, the PUD zoning district does make the allowance for those dimensions, those changes in dimension. Minimum lot width does not allow for single-family attached housing with that separate ownership that we're seeing. And then lastly, lot width minimums are usually intended for like separate buildings on their own lots, not necessarily attached units in the same building that have that separate ownership. And so our last waiver that we're going to kind of analyze here is the increase of the maximum R1C lot coverage from 40% to an average of 50%. You have those townhome units, which are each 1,086 square feet in their size. And so any lot that's less than 2,715, you're naturally going to have more than 40% coverage. And so again, this is a standard PUD dimensional waiver. Maximum lot coverage is not intended for, it's intended for detached single-family homes, not attached single-family townhome units. The increase in lot coverage is the result of that reduction in minimum lot size. And it's also the result of making space for that dedicated shared open space. And then the building coverage, if you look at the entire 16.86 acres of this development, that building coverage is going to be very well under 40%. It's just when you look at the individual lots where you have that complication. And so some final notes here. In our analysis, we did find a few lots that are under the proposed requested minimums, particularly for minimum lot size and minimum rear yard setbacks. And so the applicant, we got in touch with the applicant, we've spoken with them about it, and they have indicated that they will just adjust lot lines accordingly at time of final subdivision plat submittal, and they will be able to meet all 6 of those proposed minimum standards. And so got our findings here. A lot of these are things we've talked about already.
No, this is the highlighted ones are the ones with the minimums that are below.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And that was submitted by the applicant.
Okay.
I think Mr. Cayley could speak further to it as well, but that is something that staff is comfortable with, and we'll evaluate that at final. So in terms of findings, elements of the development, it's already been approved to be here, things like traffic, stormwater management, landscaping. That proposal is exclusively to subdivide the approved development for individual ownership. 3, the comp plan does indicate the need for this kind of use. It allows for that independent ownership of middle housing. 0 lot line arrangements where those lots have those 0-foot setbacks. That's pretty common for duplexes, but the zoning ordinance doesn't really allow that practice by right. Strict literal interpretation of the schedule of dimension area regulations would kind of deprive homeowners of the ability to own their homes, so that would kind of deprive reasonable use. So approval of the waivers wouldn't create a situation that kind of misaligns with the general character that's afforded to other single-family structures or the general character of the development that has already been approved for the site. The scheme of development is the same. And then you'll have that documentation of firewall that'll be provided. And then we also have all of those findings that we listed earlier for the waivers, and we can always revisit those if we have any questions or concerns. So staff does recommend approval of this preliminary subdivision plat for the 115 townhome lots and the 1 shared HOA lot on that parcel on Old Oxford Road and Herndon Boulevard. We do recommend approval of the 6 requested waivers from the schedule of dimension area regulations. And listed here are our conditions of approval. We have fairly standard conditions of approval. One thing to note is that we did strike what was previously condition number 4. It's listed as number 4 in your staff reports, and that is really to allow for the adjustment of lot lines if that is needed to reach the minimum proposed standards for this application. We also struck conditions that were kind of redundant with things that had already been achieved with the final development plan. And I have record of that here if we need to go into detail
So
on that.
4 is struck, what else?
Yes, ma'am. 4, 8, 12 has been changed to building inspection.
Okay.
14 has been struck, and 15 has been struck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you say 12 was the building inspector?
10, I'm sorry, I misspoke there. 10 has been changed. It previously read code enforcement and the commission
I think on
engineer.
our version it's 12.
What's that?
On our version it's 12 that's been changed.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the new one is 10.
Yes.
Got
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
Yeah.
But on the final plat, the correction of these setbacks and lot sizes, that would be going forward whenever that's submitted.
Yes, sir. That would be expected at time of final.
Okay.
Yeah. I considered adding that as a condition of approval, but it would kind of go without saying.
Yeah, because it has to be done anyway, right?
Yes, sir. Does the board have any other questions for staff right now?
Well, just a general comment. I mean, you have referenced numerous times about home ownership. I hope this happens and ends up not being a renter thing, that we can actually have people that can afford that once this price range, and I salute the developer. I hope this all works out this way. So.
Absolutely. If there are no other questions for staff, I think the applicant wants to speak.
Good job.
Thank you all.
Applicant?
Rory Cayley with EA Partners. We're in agreement. I'll make it real easy, answering questions you might have.
No concerns with the conditions?
No,
or-
we'll take care of them all, make sure we get the lots the right size when we record them.
Any questions for the applicant? Okay. thank
All
you.
right.
I will take a motion. Any motion, I think, does need to include the revised conditions as stated by Noah in the record? Okay.
You can do,
Is there anyone that wants to speak?
if you want to, I would just potentially entertain just saying as presented by staff, or as, that should cover that kind of change. Yes, Charlie, would that be appropriate? Right?
Well, I'd like to make a motion to accept as per staff's recommendation. Unless this lady, ma'am, did you have something you wanted to say?
No, I'm the last one on the agenda.
Oh, okay, all right. So I make the motion to accept it with the staff
Okay.
recommendations as spelled out.
Second?
I'll second.
All right. Mr. Best? Is that a yes?
Yes, the wrong me.
I'm putting you on the spot. I'm starting in the middle of the list here.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Stone? Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Ms. Adair? Mr. Black?
Yes.
Ms. Canfield?
Yes.
Mr. Jesse?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. All right. The applicant wants to, oh, there you are already. Okay. Last item on the agenda, PDP 2025-46, Geo Specialties Conditions of Approval.
Good evening. My name is Mark Carper, and I'm presenting this application for an amendment to the conditions of approval for a previously approved preliminary development.
Could you speak up? I'm sorry, I'm having, with the window being open, I know. Sorry, I asked for it, but
You did ask for it. Okay.
it's loud.
Maybe if I moved closer.
Okay. Maybe, okay. Perfect, thank you. Maybe it's just me and my old hearing.
Well, when you guys were speaking, sitting over there, I couldn't hear a
Yeah.
word.
Okay.
So apologize. My name is Mark Carper. I'm presenting this application for an amendment to the conditions of approval for a preliminary development plan for Geo Specialties. Here's the site plan that was approved for your recollection. This is a brief background on the recent history of this particular parcel. Last year, there was a ZMA application that was approved by this body on June 12th, 2025. That application is also approved by the Sadieville City Council for rezoning from A1 to B5. The Planning Commission did approve the PDP in November of that same year. Since part of the activities includes outdoor storage, they're required to get a conditional use permit, which is approved by the Sadieville Board of Adjustments in November of last year as well. The applicant is requesting the Planning Commission to waive condition number 4 within that particular list of conditions. The reason behind it is because the property itself has challenges in regards to having a septic system. Just a reminder, condition number 4 was a requirement that they have a WEDCO-approved sanitary system on site. This particular site, even though there's a sewer line which passes through it, it is now reached a capacity that cannot connect to it. So therefore, according to ordinance, being under 5 acres, they're required to have a septic system. Thus, that particular condition is posted. The conditions of the property itself does provide challenges. They did have it evaluated by WEDCO in terms of kind of septic system that could be placed there. They are listed here. One option would be importing soil up to 35 inches deep, letting it set for a year, and then coming in and placing a septic system. One would be providing a lagoon, not legume, lagoon with minimum 500-gallon tank, and a holding tank which would be 788, to which the toilet would be connected. The only structure that was proposed and was approved is a hoop barn consisting of 2 containers with a wagon-style cover over it. There's no intention of placing a toilet inside of any of those containers, so there's no toilet to connect to anything there. So the applicant has proposed putting in a porta potty that would be maintained by the owner itself, and thus, in order to proceed with that, they would need to have an amendment of that particular condition, number 4. Just as a note, and I did include this in the memo I sent to you guys regarding this application, the CUP, the conditional use permit, one of its conditions is that all the conditions for the PDP be adhered to. So as long as condition number 4 in the PDP approval stands, the CUP is not valid. So thus, for the validity of both of those applications, this change would be required. So we are recommending approval for this condition, and what we're proposing for the language is as follows. For condition number 4, the applicant shall install a WEDCO approved sanitary system, and I think I misspelled WEDCO, I beg your pardon. In lieu of such a system, and given the limited extent of site use and wastewater needs, the applicant may install and utilize portable restroom for this phase of development. Should future development be proposed, the wastewater needs shall be evaluated to determine whether a portable restroom is appropriate, or if the proposed site development necessitates a connection to municipal public sanitary sewer on the installation of WEDCO, got at that time, approved on site wastewater system. So, thank you, and I'm open to any questions you may have it. We do have an agent of the applicant here tonight, can speak to it as well.
I have a question. So, since there's not going to be a sewer, these are going to be porta potties. I have no idea. So, are there regulations from either local or the state that are porta potties at a business, ongoing business? Is that monitored by someone, or is it all volunteer that it's kept up with?
That I don't know. That's a good question. In terms of maintenance, the owner's taking that on. My understanding is that the use of that site is almost exclusively for outdoor storage. They'll be arriving for the purpose of putting down and picking up materials for the jobs which are off-site. Personnel, their occupation of that space is going to be very limited, primarily just for this activity. So there's not going to be much human traffic, consistent traffic in there in terms of anyone needing to relieve him or herself. In regards to maintenance of it, I'm not sure about standards that are set by the state for private use. I think that might be the issue, whether it's a public use or private use. I don't know if the applicant may have knowledge of that kind of requirements.
If you're monitored by the health department in any way, that's the question.
I don't believe this will be monitored. My understanding from WEDCO is that they only engage if something is connected to a system. Okay. So in this case, there is no system. It's just collection of the waste material.
And it's more for emergency use, should somebody that comes for the drop-off or pickup
So if they were
use
to,
the restroom, I guess?
Sure, yeah. I mean, sometimes nature calls and you must answer.
so if they were to expand in the future, they were required to come forth with a.
Yes. If you remember,
the
the original application was for an office space as well to be the headquarters. So that plan changed. They reevaluated their business plan, so they're primarily, for this site at this moment, they're seeking almost explicitly for outdoor storage for that particular business.
So going forward, if their plans expand or they have changes, then they will have to come back.
And that would be part of the listed condition.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Does the applicant have anything you'd like to share?
Hi, I'm Mary Domigan with Geisler Domigan Engineers. I'm representing the applicant. So what speaking with the owners of the property, what they've basically said is that if they do anything more than what, Mark has already explained to you, they're going to have to come before all of you again anyways.
Okay.
So it's not like, it's, I mean, all they're doing is a hoop barn, you know, with what, you know, and just using the area as storage, you know, from where, you know, they need to come and drop stuff off. And there's not going to be any full-time employees on the site at all. You know, it's just, you know, exactly as he stated.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? Or staff? Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
All right, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve PDP 2025-46 based on staff approval.
Second?
Second.
All right. Now that I know what bothers you, Mr. Best. Mr. Best?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Stone?
Suits me, yes.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
You're going to install one of these on your farm, right?
I had thought about it. Got two of them. Yeah.
You got a barn,
My
right?
neighbor's got one. Yeah.
Ms. Adair?
Yes.
Mr. Black?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Jesse?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. All right. You'll come out and sign the paperwork?
Do what?
On the WEDCO? It says WEDCO instead of WEDCO at the bottom.
It says Wedco instead of Wedco.
It says WEDCO instead of WEDCO.
The D is missing.
The D is missing. At the bottom, at least of ours, it says WEDCO.
Oh, the very bottom. All I see is Wedco.
Anything else we need to talk about?
That's what I kept saying. It says Wedco.
You good, Mark?
I do have like a courtesy thing. I've been made aware that the city has sent out their financial interest documents, their statements. Their policies is that anybody who is on their boards or that has a board position with one of their appointees has to fill out their documents. So county appointees, you will be probably getting one, unless they've changed their policy. County appointees will be getting one as well. Please have that notarized if you haven't already done all that stuff, and take it to Tracy's office. You can also take it to us, but it's a lot easier to take it to her because she's the one who's asking for it. County ones will be sent out a little bit later. They usually do theirs a fair bit later, and they usually just hand out papers to us, so we have to grab everybody. It's our annual argument for paperwork, so we really do appreciate prompt and efficient responses.
Yeah.
I know, you get about 9 months of break and then 3 months of me asking you to please fill out
I
this
got
paperwork.
mine already turned in.
Perfect.
And you got the paperwork about that training that we all just took?
I'm sorry,
You got the paperwork about all that training that most of us just took online?
yes, I haven't seen very many emails from anybody saying that they've done it, so if you guys have done the training on it, just please tell me which one you went to. I had, like, Tristan, I think, sent me one, but I don't have a lot of, like, if you guys have done independent training modules.
It was all that big one that there were several.
And then
of us.
that big training one, yeah. I think, I didn't get your guys' like little certificate of attendances from
So you need
the
that.
KLC, so I do want those for the personnel files,
Okay.
if you don't mind. I can always, I've asked her for it, and she's like, oh, well, they have them, and I'm like, okay. So, if you guys do not mind doing that for me, pretty
Should have
please.
sent an email.
You should have gotten an email from KLC,
Yeah,
and
they did.
Grace Brown sends it to you guys after the training.
What's her name?
Grace Brown with, it's at klc.org is the kind of email source.
Mine came
I
in
know I
that
sent
day.
the other one, but I
Yeah,
don't
she's
remember.
pretty prompt about them, but just make sure to forward those to us so we can have it on file. As we get, or become more aware of more trainings, we'll be sending them to you guys, but KLC trainings are usually our preferred ones because they just, especially their online ones, are pretty easy, and you can bang out a lot of stuff.
Yep. I found it very enlightening. Yeah.
So, yeah, there's nothing else from us. Sorry that there's no AC in here. Ask fiscal court about that one.
Before we adjourn, there was a question from the public about the executive committee. I want to ask the question.
You mean the workshop or?
No, the executive committee that vote for the planning commission, like it's supposed to be made up of people from the, I guess, city appointments and county appointees.
Yeah, there's a
And I had no
specific-
idea what they were talking about. But anyway, I was asking the question. The question is there a balance that's required by the statute or number of city and number of counties?
There is, I
Okay.
can't quote it, there's,
So, for a board of 9, we established our own kind of standard since we're a joint agency. So the general board contents are 4 city, 4 county, and then 1 joint appointee, so 1 agreed upon appointee. So James is our joint appointee, Brad and Melissa are county, Mary is county, David is county. Everybody else who I didn't say is a city appointee. And then for the purposes of the exec committee, by our bylaws, it has to have at least 2 of the city or 2 of the county, and then obviously we need 5 people, so then there's that kind of bonus person, so.
And the joint can count either way, right?
The joint can count either way. So Mary and Dewan are automatically on it because they're chair and vice chairman. And then Mary is a county, Dewan's a city, so we needed at least 1 more city, at least 1 more county, and then whomever else. And I cannot remember the contents of everybody else. James.
Because he's the joint.
Yeah, James is the
Melissa
joint.
is county.
Melissa is on it. And then Brad, no, are you on it, Tristan? No.
Mr. Green.
I'm not, okay, maybe it is Brad.
Told me.
I have to look at the
I'll have to look
election
at the-
record.
yeah.
I don't memorize everything because,
I just need to clarify. 'cause the
yes,
public did
so
ask.
it is an equally kind of proportional representation for both the body of the planning
David.
commission and
It's
the
David.
executive. It's David.
Jude.
I thought I'd come on.
No, you didn't come on. No, because Brad wasn't here that night.
I wasn't either.
Oh, well, I guess we nominated him. She'd been abstention.
So, if there's anything else, Haroldine, we
No,
can
that was
speak
just a
afterwards.
question. I said I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, yeah, that's everything.
But that's just a local decision.
Yeah,
that's
this is
made
not
here,
a
so it's not
statutory.
state
Yeah, I guess it's in our bylaws, the mix that it
law.
has
I
to
think it's in
be.
the bylaw.
Yeah, it's in the
Or-
bylaws.
Or it's in the ordinance where they created the extra couple of members for saving on staff.
Okay.
I guess there are people that observe that and they ask the question. I have no idea.
Yep.
All right, anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Done.